Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers and welcome to Women's View on Ahlulbayt TV. You're watching Women's View live on Ahlulbayt TV. Now today's topic is a very interesting one and something which applies to us all. The topic of today's show is spouse selection. Now we got many emails coming through of people requesting for us to do this topic on spouse selection. We see in this day and age the increase of divorce rates, and especially the increase of marriages being broken up within the initial stages, which means engagements. Many engagements have ended up broken. So we begin to question, what is the problem and where do people go wrong? Are people looking for the right qualities within their spouses? As we know that marriage is perhaps the most blessed institution that we can think of. So many people want to maintain their marriage and they want to have a healthy marriage. However, we must go to initial stages of finding a suitable partner which can aid us in this cause. Inshallah, today we'll be addressing many of the aspects of spouse selections. What qualities should we look for? What qualities should we avoid? Also, where are people going wrong? Why do we see many divorces taking place? Inshallah, we'll be addressing many of the questions that some people may have. We've already been receiving some of your comments and some of your emails, some of your questions. They've been coming in. So inshallah, we'll be addressing them in today's show. Just to remind you all that this is a live call-in show. So if you would like to call in with your views or opinions, then please do call in with the number on the screen. Would love to hear from you. What do you think about spouse selection? Do you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to participate in today's show? Then just hit the numbers on the screen and you can get through. Alternatively, you can email us at womensview@ahlulbayt.tv. That's womensview@ahlulbayt.tv. As we've already received some emails and comments, we'll be going through them first. So if you have any questions, then please do send them in as soon as possible so we can read them out. So that's the introduction of today's topic. I'm your host, Zahra Al-Alawi, and today with me is Sister Ghadeer Zaini. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is a very interesting topic, and it's something which really applies to us all. I mean, everybody wants to have a successful marriage and wants a spouse that can aid them in their life. So, first of all, going to the initial stages, what qualities should we look for within a spouse when choosing a spouse?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. One of the most important or fundamental things that a person needs to focus on when considering selecting a spouse is that of faith. We have a hadith by the Prophet ﷺ, which states, "Man ja'aka tardawna dinahu wa khuluquhu fazawwijuhu." That is that if a man proposes to a woman and he is religious and of good mannerism, then a woman should accept the marriage. So you see that there's an emphasis on the religious element and mannerism. Now, if we take the religious element, religion is divided into faith and you have the practice of religion. So we say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihat." So man is at loss, unless it's those who believe and do good deeds. So it's important to have the faith, the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Aqidah and Ahlulbayt, the belief in Ahlulbayt, and also to practice the religion. So this is when you look at how religious a person is, it's important to focus on both of those. Also, it's important to find a person who is God conscious, a person who is continuously remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything that he or she does. We have a narration that states that Imam Hussein was asked by a man who wanted to marry his daughter off, who should he marry his daughter off to? And Imam Hussein stated that you should choose somebody who is God conscious. Why? Because such a person will love and respect her, and even when he is angry, he won't hurt her. A person who is God conscious, we say in Arabic, we say, had Allah qaddam ayna. That means he has God constantly on his mind, and therefore, even if such a person was to wrong you, and we're not perfect, people wrong each other, but he will be quick to rectify it, and in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, you know, a person to do that. So it's important that when it comes to looking out for a person that's religious, that you focus on first the foundations, that the aqidah is there, that the belief system is correct, that a person is practicing, and that they're God conscious. Then we move on to the second part of the hadith, which talks about mannerism. Now that encompasses a lot of things. It could generosity, kindness, loyalty. The list it can continue, but so I'm not going to go into that. But generally speaking, the mannerism of a person, if it's good and their religion is good, this is the main focus I believe that a person should have. Now, of course, there are other things that a person needs to consider. But generally speaking, we have a little checklist in our head of things that we need to look for in a spouse, religion and mannerism should be at the top of that. And I believe that you need to find out if a person is religious and has good mannerism before you proceed to look at anything else.
Yeah. No, these are very important, but in this generation we often find that people don't really look for those two elements within a spouse. Perhaps I'll say looks is in the top of many people's agenda, which is very unfortunate. I want to say one more thing, because when I was reading some hadith on the qualities of a spouse as well, I came across some interesting hadith by Prophet Muhammad, and he said, marry your children off to a person with a decent family or a religious family, because genes affect later on. And also he had another hadith that said, be wary of where you place your children within marriage, and that added emphasis to the family that they were marrying off to as well, which is quite interesting, because many people that get married, they don't realize that they are actually marrying the family as well, in a sense. Now moving on, you mentioned those two characteristics which we all should be looking for, but where do people go wrong? I mean, we see so many divorce rates now and breakups, so where do people go wrong?
A lot of the times you find that the focus is on emotions and attraction, and this overrides things that are more important in a relationship, such as like we mentioned, the religion, the mannerism, and also other things like culture, family, like you just mentioned, these things, and just commonalities between you and the other person. Now, here in the West, you find that a lot of emphasis is placed on lust, on the physical element of things, the physical attraction, and this causes an imbalance in that emphasis is placed on things that are less important, and that things that are more important, that are there to sustain the relationship, they have less emphasis placed on them. And so I believe that people go wrong with regards to things like that. They're not focusing on the things that are more important. We have a hadith that says, "من تزوج امرأة على مالها وجمالها لم يؤتى بمالها وجمالها." A person that marries a woman purely because of her beauty, he will not see her beauty. Or if he marries her because of her wealth, he will just see the wealth only, and he'll be prevented from the rest of that. Whereas if a person marries for the right reasons, for religion, for the akhlaq, the mannerism of a person, and all the other things that come along with that, this is the key to a sustainable relationship.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's in the marriage, they would know that after a couple of years, the looks, the wealth, wealth comes and goes, looks comes and goes. But like you said, it's the religion and the akhlaq that really, really will hold the relationship together and glue the relationship together. So I really believe that is the elements. We got some comments being posted through today. Let me just read some of them out so we can get through as much as possible during today's show. One comment was posted on the Ahlulbayt TV Facebook group. Anyone that has access to the Ahlulbayt TV Facebook group said, "Great topic, sisters. Thank you very much for doing this topic. My question is, how do you really know the personality of the person you're marrying? No one is what they seem until you live and marry them. Many people change after marriage, so how can you be sure you're marrying the right person?" And perhaps this is based on a lot of people's experience, or some people's experience. Some people that have ended up in divorce say that the person changed, or they weren't who we thought they were, and we see that that has been a problem in previous situations. So what would you answer this? I believe her name was Rayhana Latif. So what would you say?
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Rihanna. In short, you don't. You can try your best to get to know a person. You can try your best to do your research to try and find out more about the person, but there are some things that you will inevitably only discover after you've married them, and you know, certain people do change, and that is a sad fact that that certain marriages will end up in divorce because people do change, or sometimes you find that there's another element to this, that people kind of build up a picture of who they are before marriage, and they're not able to kind of maintain that picture of the person that they, you know, portray to the other person. And it's a really difficult one. I mean, I don't have the answer to that question, in all honesty. It's just, you know, you try your best to ascertain the things that are important. Religion, I'm going to emphasize on this because I really believe that people don't focus on it at all nowadays. Religion, mannerism, try to just find these things and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you've made the right choice, but I really don't have the answer to that question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for Sister Rihanna that posted on Facebook, first of all, like our guest said, that if you find the initial things like religion and akhlaq, then you will be, no matter what happens after marriage, for example, if the person does change, we discover new things about your partner, or you go through any obstacles within marriage, if your partner has the akhlaq and has the religion, then you can overcome anything. So I think that's more of a how to sustain your marriage question, or how to maintain a healthy marriage, because there are many obstacles that come after getting married and after finding your spouse, one of them being discovering new things or new habits, or finding out that partner, what you thought of them wasn't what they are. But inshallah, we'll do another topic on maintaining a healthy marriage and, you know, overcoming the obstacles which come with marriage. So we will cover that question within that topic as well. Just to remind the audience that this is a live call-in show. So if you'd like to call in or comment or email in any questions, then please feel free to. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned that there has been an increase of divorce rates and an increase of marriage being broken up, or marriage arrangements, engagements being broken up. So why has there been an increase in this?
My humble opinion. We already mentioned that that there is an emphasis on the things that are less important, for example, attraction, and the emotional aspects of things, and the chemistry, and less emphasis on things that are more important. And we mentioned religion, mannerism, and things that are the commonalities between a person, and things such as culture, the family, the background. These things are very important. Education, the intellect of a person. Less emphasis is placed on these things. So this is, I believe, this is one of the reasons why there's an increase in divorce, because people marry for the wrong reasons. And they go into it because a person's good looking or whatever, and that's not going to last very long, and then how are you going to sustain that marriage? This is one thing. The second thing is, I believe that we have a culture of kind of the individuality, whereas there's this focus on yourself, and you kind of, you're unwilling to compromise your individuality for the family, for the family unit. And you find that nowadays couples tend to be, well, I'm not going to say all couples, but there are couples that are quite selfish in the way that they interact in their marriage. They kind of want to live the bachelor or bachelorette type of lifestyle, but within the marriage framework, and that doesn't work. I mean, it can't work. Marriage is about compromise. It's about working together. It's about two people. It's like teamwork, and when people just, they kind of want to do their own thing, it's all about number one, it's about, you know, my interests and gratifying my interests, then that's where the problems start. For example, and I'm not, this is just among many examples, so I'm not going to be biased towards males or females, but you find that a lot of men nowadays, they will be, like, they're married and they'll go out on a daily basis with their friends till late hours, and they'll leave their wife either at home, or she might be out with her friends till late hours, and everyone's just living their own life, doing their own thing, and then you have the problem of they're not spending the quality time, they're not bonding, they're not that is really important for the sustenance of a marriage, and you find that everyone's just, and the same thing goes for the woman. The woman is either engaged in her own, like she could be doing whatever it is that person's doing, whether it's a hobby or that they're addicted to the gym or whatever it is. You find that people are quite selfish nowadays, and they just want, they want to live the single life but be married and have that kind of that freedom, if you like. But that's not the right way to approach things. That's not the right way to maintain a marriage. And so I think these are just some of the reasons why divorce rates have increased.
Definitely, yeah. I think with all the elements that you mentioned and aspects you mentioned, I think that many people, they don't make this clear when they first initially want to get married. For example, many people that get married, I really believe that when you are thinking of getting married or you get married, that you would ask your potential spouse all the questions like, do you go out late at night? What do you think of women studying? I know people that have broken up because the woman's not allowed to work or study. And I think that all should be made clear at the beginning of the marriage, so you have an outlook of what your marriage will be like. Like you said, that many people try to live the bachelor life while still being married, which causes a lot of problems as well. We had a caller call in, however, they didn't want to be put through live, so they left the message with the brothers in the call center. His question was, as a brother, he said, many people, like non-Muslims, always ask, how can Muslim couples get married while not seeing each other or spending time with each other beforehand, before the actual marriage process? Is that really feasible for a couple to get married but not know much about each other? He said that many people, non-Muslims, ask, so how would you be able to answer that?
Well, back in the day, our parents used to do it, but I'm not going to go into that because we're going to talk about it now. There are different ways to get married. So there's the traditional approach of a guy goes and asks his mother, and she'll find him the wife. And even with that, the traditional approach, there usually is the getting to know each other period, whereby it's either in each other's houses or he'll go over and they'll ask each other questions. And it's not the most natural of things, but you do kind of ask each other questions, and sometimes they have this getting to know period, they call it khutuba, or just, periods where before you actually do the nikah or the aqd, you kind of get to know each other through that period. And basically, I think that does help in getting to know one another, but it's never going to be the same as how it's going to be like after you get married. But for non-Muslims, a lot of the times, I mean, when two people date, or they're going to be doing the same kind of thing, except they're going to have the physical element to this. This is something that we as Muslims aim to avoid before marriage. But we do the whole courtship of getting to know one another in the presence of parents, or otherwise, depending on the avenue that you choose to find a spouse. Yeah, definitely.
We have another call on the line, but just before we go to that call, I just wanted to say one thing regarding the previous call, adding on to what you said. I'm a great advocate of people getting married without heavily getting to know each other. Just as a personal opinion, I really believe that if the notion of getting to know each other was so important and will help a marriage, then the divorce rates in the Western countries which abide by this getting to know each other will be less, because it will be more successful to get to know each other. But yet you find within the Western countries their divorce rates are perhaps higher than what we have, of people not getting to know each other. It's just my personal opinion. I believe that form of method of getting to know each other, emotion gets in the way, other things get in the way, and it ruins the process of marriage. But if that notion was really the better option, then divorce rates of people getting to know each other and getting married would be less than those who get married without really heavily getting to know each other. But like you said, within now, there's people sit down and they negotiate before getting married anyway, so you do see your spouse. It's not like you're completely blind to not seeing anyone. We have another call on the line, so let's take that call. Salaam alaikum.
Salaam alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. My English not that good. I want to ask Sister Ghadeer, if I'm pronouncing the right name, that she was saying that about her own views. I think, is it her own views, or is it like Islamic views that men should work or help in the housework as well? Like which I understand from her talk, that men should work in the home and work together with like wife.
Yeah.
And they should not leave the wife in the house. Should not go out with the friends or for work and doing the homework. Is it her own views or Islamic views?
Okay.
In my point of view, like what I understand from Islamic life by going back to history, like seeing the life of Janab Fatima Zahra, Imam Ali, is it the right views like you are distributing, or is it wrong?
Do you support those views of a man should help a wife within the household, just as out of curiosity?
Sorry?
Do you support those views that a man should not stay at home, but a man should help his wife within the household? Do you agree?
But no, I'm not going to agree or disagree anything.
Okay. You just want to know if it's within Islam.
No, I'm not saying I'm agree or disagree. What I'm saying is it your own views, or is it the Islamic views you are distributing?
Okay, okay then. Thank you very much for calling in, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to out of curiosity because some people agree, some people don't. But is it within Islam that a man should support his wife?
First of all, I wanted to clarify to the brother. I think he misunderstood what I said. I was actually referring to men going out on a daily basis for long hours and leaving their wives, or vice versa, where women go out and not spending the quality time that's needed between a husband and wife. That's what I was referring to. I wasn't talking about housework, or I didn't mention housework or that, but I don't mind going into that. I mean, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. What was the question?
Is it within Islam that a man should support his wife or help his wife within the household?
I don't think there is anything that indicates that a man shouldn't help Imam Ali used to help Fatima Zahra, and he provided her with somebody to help her at the time when she got tired. So there's nothing to say that a man shouldn't help a woman. In fact, it's a very nice thing to do, and and in the same way, a woman would help a man with other things. I mean, it's really about sharing, to be honest. So
yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, for the brother that called in, if you're looking at the lives of the prophets, like say Imam Ali alayhi salam, the prophet, all the imams actually, they all used to help their wives within the household. Imam Ali used to bake bread. He used to do a lot of things within the household that many men do not do in this day and age. But if you look at the lives of the imams and the prophets, the majority of them, or all of them, used to help their wives within the household. And if we are really followers of the Ahlulbayt, and the men want to become like Imam Ali alayhi salam, then you have to live upon their way of living. And also there are hadiths, actually, for the brother that called in, there are hadiths about men getting rewarded for helping their wife within the household. Actually, in Islam, it's not compulsory for a woman to even do housework. So housework, cleaning, there's hadiths that say that it's not compulsory upon a woman, but the reward a woman gets for staying at home and doing this household is great, just as a man. It's not compulsory for him to stay at home and help his wife, but if he does, then that's great. And if we all want to become like Fatima Zahra alayhi salam and Imam Ali and the Ahlulbayt, then we all would really, like you said, become a backbone for each other and support each other.
Definitely.
Definitely. So I hope that answers the brother's question. If not, then feel free to call back in with any comments that you may have. We are going off for a break soon, but I just want to mention one more comment that was posted on my Facebook page, and then if we don't get the chance to complete it all, then we'll come back after the break. It's from Sister Huda Najat Mufid, and she said, what advice would you give for someone wanting to get married, and what should we look for and what should we avoid? Can't wait for the show. I'll be watching tonight. We already mentioned of what we should look for within a marriage, so just answering her question. I know we don't have much time, so you can start answering it and we'll come back after the break. What should we avoid when choosing a spouse? Because when we want to get married, we pick all the elements that we want, but what should we avoid when picking a spouse?
I think this is like this is subjective to the person. For each individual, they'll have certain things that are important to them, like certain things that are fundamental, like certain characteristics that are vital for them. Like for me, it will be different to the next person. And what may be acceptable to me may not be acceptable to the next person. So it's a bit difficult to answer what you should avoid. I mean, there's the general things that we could talk about, you know, avoid the controlling man or woman, okay, or a person with a bad temperament, and etc. etc. But I can't answer that question. It depends on the person itself. What's important to them will then. When you're able to identify what you want, you are then able to identify what you don't want and what to look for.
Definitely. We'll come back after the break, inshallah. We have to go for a quick break, but great answer. And for the sister emailed in, Sister Huda, inshallah, we'll come back to your question after the break. You're watching Women's View live on Ahlulbayt TV, and our topic today is spouse selection. What qualities should you look for within a spouse? So please do join us in a few minutes while we continue on this topic on spouse selection. So see you then. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.